Hi, I'm Beck Lane, and this is Catalyst and Company. Catalyst and Company, where apparently I am not showering today. But we work on being the artists we've always wanted to be, and we're catalysts in each other's lives as well as our own, and I just mixed everything up. As we can see, I have not showered. You are looking at an apparent bald spot that I didn't know I had, or where my hair was thinning for a while and is now kind of growing back. Now that I'm not nearly as freaked out and stressed out because of my time in Georgia. I'm a little bit more comfortable in my life, so my hair may be growing back, may not. Sorry for the bald spot or the pink head, but there we are. That's just the way it is. So I've just been through, we're continuing this fellowship application video series, or whatever you want to call it, me babbling on and apparently upsetting a couple of people because I'm doing this and sharing it, which was the point, was to share an insight, be able to give you an insider's view into this process. I've never had an inside view. No one's ever shared this with me before. So I thought it would be really helpful to say, look at this, and this is a great fellowship to start with because they have made everything clear. But to be able to say, look at, this is a fellowship process, and this is what jurors may be thinking when they're looking at your work. Again, I'm getting a little irritated because this is not a willy-nilly thing where I'm sitting here going, no, they suck. That's not how this is working. This is not how it works in my life in general at all. But I'm really glad to have guidelines. There's actually a 6-page booklet that I was sent that I have to follow. And so with each applicant, I'm going through the entire process over and over and over again as to the grading system that I've been asked to use. And as I have now expressed several times, I'm also looking at this through the lens of compassion and understanding. We all know what it's like to be rejected. I certainly know what it's like to be rejected. I know what it's like to be steamrolled. And I always wonder, is it because I didn't go to the right school or I don't have the right connections, which is true a lot of the times. I'm an outsider. I've been a friggin' outsider my entire life. Like everyone, like almost everyone. So I'm trying to give, I forgot what I was saying, but I'm trying to give anybody who's interested an inside view into what I believe is a pretty clear applicant process with guidelines and guardrails. And I think this is a brilliant place to start. And my hope is that wherever I have applied, and I've applied to many things and been rejected, I hope that the fellowships or anything that I've applied to has guidelines for their jurors like this, where we are required to pay attention, to not just say, I don't like it. That's amateur. That again, like the flowery, silly, I'm floating in the stars on an artistic journey language. It's amateur. Not having guidelines to me at this point is amateur. So I'm sharing what I feel is as much professional information as I can provide so that the artists that are interested can take this, like me, and apply it to their websites, to their applications, to their entire lives. And as we have now covered in 3 different videos with my hair standing up, intent is the biggest thing. So I've been through 3 or 4 applications in a row where the artwork has been brilliant, but that's not the first criteria. That's not the ultimate decision. Oh, you look fancy and your artwork is fancy and it's brilliant, and good Lord, move over Picasso, who I didn't like, I just still don't like. his work. But move over all the famous people because this guy or this woman or this person. That's not the first criteria. We're going through intent. We're going through several essays that they have to write. Some of them, well, no, I am reading them. I glaze over or graze over the education or the stuff where it's a lot of chest pounding. I've done great things. I know everybody is like, look at, I did this thing. Some of them I'll kind of glance over them and I'll see Yale or the New Yorker or blah blah blah, and I go, okay, that person has been able to achieve quite a bit. That's nice. But what is their intent? I'm looking at one now that has high credentials, but that's not the end all and that's not the beginning and the end. It's not everything. Because I personally know people who have had, high achievements in their lives, but without a lot of merit. It's just they've been doing the trendy thing. And then that trend fades and they fade. They've been given the leg up. They haven't evolved. And so there's a lot that I'm looking at that I am responsible to see. I've been given not only the honor of being a juror, but also I've been given the responsibility of actually seeing these people. And it's something I take very seriously. Again, none of this is willy-nilly. So I'm looking at someone right now who is boasting, and rightfully so, and boasting on their website homepage, which if I had these credentials, I would be boasting as well. So I don't need to look at their website anymore. I've already got it. Sometimes I dig through when a number of the people who don't quite have the experience, don't quite have the achievements or the innovation and originality that this fellowship is looking for. I'll dig through and look for reasons to give them a higher grade. Again, none of this is willy-nilly. None of this is willy-nilly. It's as easy as learning sentence construction. And then being an English teacher, I'm not a writer, so bear with me, but it's as simple as learning sentence construction and then teaching other people or grading people on how they utilize the basic tools of sentence construction, or learning geometry or, algebra. And if you don't have any grasp on any of the basic tools, it's like, okay, go home and learn. Try. Go home and work on this a little bit more. There are rules to writing. There are rules to math. And then there are also rules to break. And there is always room to learn and play around a little bit. And so there's a lot running through my head while I'm doing this. There's a lot. And this fellow, or this person, I'm down to grading. This person, they're very clear too, and this is a big thing, is how will they use their fellowship? I just read an essay by someone who decided to pound their chest and did 3 or 4 paragraphs on how important they are. And I'm like, okay, you're brilliant. Now give me the reason you need this fellowship or want this fellowship. What will this do for you? Because that is an important component here. In this person, although their work has been highly lauded and shown in important places, I'm like, that's not the weight of it. That's not the measure for me. So I'm trying to find the technical skill isn't really, it's okay. It's tired. I've seen it. We've apparently seen it for 200 years, but I can't be more specific. I wish I could, but I can't. I mean, let me put it this way. As a painter, I'm already doing something that's hundreds and thousands of years old. Thousands of years old. While I'm doing this, and when I apply to anything, I'm thinking, what makes me unique? What makes me... What inspires people to get behind me and support the work? Painting isn't new. Paint isn't new. Paint itself isn't new. Even though I rely on paints that were colors produced during the Industrial Revolution, they have a wonderful magical history with Impressionism. They're not new. Mineral spirits aren't new. Master mediums aren't new. Canvas isn't new. So what am I doing that makes me unique, or a leader in painting? This is all lofty stuff I think about all the time. And so I'm looking at work right now. Oh, she's run it through a computer program too. She's trying to tell a story. She's working on something where she's actually telling a story. This is a toughie. This is a toughie. So what I'm going to do now is kind of glance down a little bit in her application. I mean, I'm really giving you a play-by-play insight here. She calls herself accomplished. Yes, obviously she's been lauded, and on a pretty high level. But again, that doesn't. I don't care. I really don't care. I quite literally have friends who have worked in the Smithsonian and are have been published and gotten all kinds of awards across the country. And I'm just like, that's nice. That's a boat. You've painted a boat with a cloud in the background. That's not exactly earth-shattering. So just to let you know where I'm coming from. I'm looking at her CV. Ooh, this one is organized really well too. Education, grants and awards, illustrations, illustration client list, artist residencies, exhibits. Really, I'm learning how I have to organize my CV. It's really well done. I also looked at when she was born. But again, the age doesn't matter. I actually just saw some work that is absolutely brilliant and innovative. The woman was born, she's older than me. So she's in her 70s or 80s, but it's brilliant. So the age thing doesn't hold any weight on me, with me. People love me, which I've used too. I use it all the time. People love, I've done this great thing. It's okay, calm down. again, it's really the clarity of intent. I know you've done this thing and you've gone to this fabulous school, Brown, Yale, Harvard, not this particular person, but others. RISD, which I ran across a couple of RISD graduates. That's nice. And I was just discussing actually this entire project, including making the videos, with another friend of mine. And to make sure I was being balanced and fair. As well as I'm also talking to one of the directors quite frequently. That was my phone I was picking up. Emailing and talking with one of the directors quite frequently to make sure that I'm handling this. I'm seeing things in a balanced way. What was I looking for? Oh, I can't remember what I was looking for. I've looked at everything. Yeah, I don't care about the education. Education does not always equal, which I can't find, and I'll go through her website. No, I'm not going to go through her website. Where you went to school doesn't always inform your abilities or your skills or your intent. Or the effect, and that's part of this as well, part of the guidelines, is your effect on the wider world. So technically, this person is kind of there. Their drawings hark back to a period in the late 80s and early 1990s when street artists were applying a bit of a snarky view on illustration. I know that's not what what this artist is going for. They're not going for snark. I mean, right now I'm thinking about the technical aspects of this. They're not going for snark. But it still has that a quality that I've seen millions of times at this point. And I think they may be relying a little too heavily on using past illustrators, past artists, lack of ability is kind of an excuse. And that's what it feels like. Because some of this is very messy. Maybe it's the innovation that I'm having a problem with, because there's nothing innovative going on here. And maybe it's lack of self-awareness, or because they've gotten so much attention. It feels as though, and from their language, it feels as though they're sitting back on their heels. Well, I am recognized at some very high institutions, by the way, here, and here. It's a lot to consider. what's bothering me right now is they're trying to take they're taking ideas from the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and applying those ideas, those time-tested ideas, and applying them through computer programs. Not that they've stated, you know, I want to give a fresh take on anything. It just seems as though they're relying too heavily on excuses and someone else to clean their work up. But the content of the work is, the content of the ideas is there. They're trying to educate. So this is a real tough one. I want to make sure that I'm being fair here and seeing things clearly. So what I'm going to do is grade this artist on Creative Clarity, because it is there. They're getting the top score for that. Innovation and originality. It's not really there. It's not the top. It's not the worst. You know, it's not like, ugh. It certainly doesn't merit the lowest score possible. That would be incorrect, as well as cruel. I'm not going to give them the top score, but I'm not giving them the middle or the lowest score. I think we're going to, well, maybe. Yeah, sharing way too much. But if we were to grade this, we have 4 different levels of grading that I can go through. And one is 5 to 9, the next is 10 to 14, the next level is 15 to 19, and that's what I'm going to read you. And then the top level is 20 to 25. The 15 to 19, I can pick a number within there. The guideline is the work demonstrates clear innovation either in the conceptualization, approach, or execution of the project. The applicant challenges traditional methods or introduces new techniques, what they're not. So I'm going to step down a little bit. As you can see, this is not willy-nilly. This is not willy-nilly at all. The work introduces some 10 to 14 is the next grading level in innovation. The work introduces some original elements or approaches, but may still rely on familiar methods and concepts, and that is the truth. So I'm going to go with 10 there. I'm going to go with 10 there, because that's the truth. They are relying too heavily on what they've seen, what they know. And like Damien Hirst, they're being celebrated for it. Not to be mean. I wish I could share with you what I'm seeing, because if they had stuck with their own, if they had stuck with one measure they have used, I would have been like, oh, okay, we're 15 to 20, 25. Yeah, an innovation, it's not quite there. It's not innovative. And I guess I'm holding people to a high standard. If they're applying here, then they have to hold themselves to a higher standard as well. So scope. Does the applicant's work engage with themes, problems, or ideas that have relevance beyond the individual? That is an absolute solid yes. So there are two levels that I could grade them on, two different numerical levels I can grade them on out of 5. The 15 to 19 grades. The work, I apply a numerical grade to the grade system. The work demonstrates clear potential for broader relevance, addressing themes or problems that could engage diverse audiences or contribute to a wider audience. Yeah, we're there. We're there. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, we're there on that one. But let's look at the 20 to 25 level, the grading system up there, the numbers I can use up there. The work has significant potential for broad impact, with the ability to address issues or themes that are socially, yes, intellectually, yes, or scientifically relevant, no. That's not going to apply. Those 3 aren't going to apply to any one artist for the most part. The work has the potential to influence or contribute meaningfully to a larger community or field. And yes, both 15 to 19 and grades 15 to 19 and grades 20 to 25 apply. Yeah. Yeah. I think we're going to go with a 20 on that. The technical skill, however, is the thing that's really bothering me. Because in one image and in several that are on the artist's website, they're showing great technical skill in their application. They're relying too heavily on aids to kind of doctor their abilities. So as you can see, this is a long process. This is not something I'm taking lightly. I mean, I've had applications take an hour, and I think I've gone through 15 at this point. Maybe 18. So I've gone to their website again. Yes, I know you're a big deal. Very happy for you. It's just, what's hard for me is I've seen this a million times already. This reminds me of every bookmaker I've ever met, or I've met over the past 30 years. It reminds me of so many people, but I've already graded on innovation. I've given it a 10, so it's not terribly innovative. There's nothing new happening here. Now, if I'm sitting here doing this, it means that this is a serious artist. Well, I'm doing this with everybody, believe me, just like sweating, but digging, looking for reasons to give people a good grade. The highest grade possible. I don't know, I don't know. I think I'm going to get something to eat and sit and think about this. I'm giving you I'm giving you an insider's view of what this is like. I've mentored hundreds of artists around the world. I'm currently mentoring a bunch here in town. I mentor people that I've known for decades. I've mentored. I've put together shows, organized shows, and that have then gone on to having those participants open other shows and work with me on opening other shows. So I have quite a bit of experience that I don't share with people here. And although I am usually kind of goofy and bitter and a little snarky about things, I'm not applying it here. We don't apply that to other artists. My objective is not to hurt anyone, not to hurt people. So I'm keeping notes, and I'm keeping them separate, so they have something to refer to if the artist comes back to me. And with anyone I mentor, it's never about making me feel bigger, making me feel like the most important person. Because honestly, I pale in comparison in many ways, or in many facets to, not all these artists. Fucking neighbor. Fat Pete is home again. The third time already today. He has a job. Can you just go stay at it, Fat Pete? Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Fat Pete distracted me again. Yeah, I'm looking at aspects of these applications and going, God, that's brilliant. But looking at their brilliance clearly too, hopefully. I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm not doing this alone. I'm not doing this in a bubble. I'm not doing this with snark. I'm not doing this to better my ego. I'm using this as a learning and a teaching tool for the artists that have applied, especially when I write comments. I try not to write anything that would hurt or insult, but using this as a teaching tool with the people around me. So we're not going to know until somebody tells us. I'll read you one comment I did write. Yeah, I've got all these notes for myself, just in case the artist does come back and says, what can I do to get to, what did you see? What deficiency did you see? No, I can't find it. Oh, well. Okay, if I find... It was something about, I actually gave this artist a pretty high grade on every level, but they were scattered in their application, like just all over the place. But again, I went to the website, looked at the artwork, read the essay, the proposal essay again, as I have with everyone, went through it carefully, and saw where they were trying to go, but couldn't quite get there. And I believe I wrote on there, the note I put in their application was, uses a lot of words, or something like that. Oh my God, I wish I could find it, because it was actually pretty funny. But it's never to hurt or insult. It's just, hopefully, can you tweak this just a little bit? All right, I can't find it. I gotta go eat something. And the nice thing is, like, I can sit down, do a video, and go, you know what? Maybe I wasn't seeing that clearly. Maybe I wasn't correct. So I actually have the ability, and I will do this. I'm going to go through everyone. I'm going to do the grading thoroughly. And then I'm going to go back through, and especially with the weaker candidates, I'm going to go through, like I do with everything in life and everyone I deal with, kind of sit and think about it for a minute. Make sure I'm right. So although you may believe that this is, you know, off the cuff and willy-nilly, and I'm, you know, someone like me is just going good, bad, end of story, pretty, not pretty, end of story. That's not happening. That is not happening on any level. There is a delicate balance in evaluating an artist's work, as you can see. And sometimes it's pretty hard. So I'm going to get something to eat and think about this artist's work and their application. Maybe after a tuna fish sandwich, I'll be able to come to an almost final grade. But again, I will comb through them once I'm done, again and again, before I completely submit my grades in the applications. Just make sure. The nice thing is, I do, well, except for Fat Pete rolling around, I can do this in quiet. I'm not sitting down with other people who would try and influence my thoughts or rush them. I know we're running long. This is like 40 minutes of me yapping now. Actually, I got the request. I was requested to do this earlier this week, but I had some things going on. And I said to one of the directors, I want to make sure I do this right, and I do this thoroughly, and I do this fairly. And so I'm not going to rush this. I'm not going to do it. Apparently this was supposed to be done by today. And I said, I'm not. And they gave me an extra week. That's how seriously I'm taking this. As with anything to do with art, I'm taking it seriously. So there we are. I'm going to go make some tuna. Oh no, maybe I still have, oh, I made this really nice vegetable something or other in a Taiwanese something sauce with coconut and chicken. I don't know what it is. It's moderately delicious, so I might go have that. That's very exciting. I wonder where I am. And I'm really glad I get to oh God, I've got forever to go. I'm only up to the M's, and I've got to go, wow, I've got M through R. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that right now, because I do have an extra week to sit with these people. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. No, anyway, yeah, I just wanted to give you a little bit more insight and maybe sit through one candidate with me and see how, or have kind of some insight into the application process. I know it's really easy to look and go, well, you're not doing this, and you shouldn't, and blah, 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 blah. That's super easy. That's really easy. You can find something wrong with anyone, anywhere, anytime, doing anything, including putting on their socks. But I thought it was important to allow people into this end of the process. Because I've come back, I mean, I got rejected from the Bennett recently, and I'm like, really? Female, paints portraits, does figures. That's kind of your three criteria. But hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women applied for the Bennett. And because of that rejection, which I kind of went, whatever. Because of that rejection, and now because of doing this, I'm thinking, oh, okay. How can we present better next time? I got rejected from Yado, the artist residency in northern New York, I think it is. No, so I thought for sure I'd get in, because I also have worked with or know people who have been in. I know, and it wasn't like, well, I know so-and-so. I actually have people around me that have been to Yado. I actually have an intricate relationship with an organization that has had members go to Yado. I got rejected. I was a little upset. But at the same time, I thought, they're seeing something that I'm unaware of. Or not seeing something. And this will help me to figure out what it is I am lacking. I'm not going to jump through ridiculous hoops. Like, we want more red in your paintings. That's not going to happen. And that's not the feedback I would take seriously anyway. But it is a bit of a bell jar where I am in my head, where I am trying to figure out how I can improve my presentation without outside influence, because I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what other people think. It's kind of like running, I know, 45 minutes. Where it's kind of like being a marathon runner. And let's say you're in the Boston Marathon, the cream of the crop. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people trying to reach the finish line. Handful, let's say 100, trying to reach first place. You're in, let's pretend for a minute I'm in one of the top 100. Let's pretend. I don't run, and I don't have any illusions that I'm top 100 of anything. But let's pretend. I'm in the top 100. I'm doing Heartbreak Hill. I'm exhausted. I've now pooped my pants. My legs are going rubbery. People are passing me. Can't whine about them being faster, better trained, healthier. Necessarily, you can whine, but it's not going to help. You can blame your shoes, which, yeah, is a big consideration. You can blame the friction between your thighs that's now caused blisters and you're in pain. Or you can evaluate, reevaluate, and work. And so that's what we're looking at. I don't know if people know this, but I actually did competitive sparring for a while. And the first time I lost, I got beaten literally blind. I couldn't see a thing. I couldn't hear. My hearing was beaten out of me by this very tall, very big woman who just could reach over across the thing and boink me on the head until I was blind. Boink, boink, boink. I got yelled at by my coach. Then I got ignored. He wouldn't speak to me for like a month because I couldn't hear his instructions from the sidelines. I couldn't hear him. So he was mad because he thought I was ignoring him. It was really sad. It was just kind of pathetic and sad. That end of the result of that. However, I realized he's a human being and kind of a douche. But I went back and I practiced 6-7 days a week, 2 hours a day, did sparring, 2 hours a day, weightlifting, running, etc. Training. 8 for training, 8 for the fight. Dreamt the fight. Learned some of the people I would be competing against, and trained with people who were stronger, faster, younger, taller, bigger, slimmer. I trained with people who were above me in every way, far more competent than me in every way, and I stopped losing fights. I stopped losing. I stopped coming in second anywhere I went. I had one day where I had, I think, 10 fights in a row, one right after the other. But I trained to a point then where okay. I didn't realize I'd won. I'd come out number 1 in nationally. I didn't even realize it till it was over. But it's training, and this video, as long as it is helping you to train, helping me to train. This experience is helping me to train so that we start succeeding. That's why I'm sharing this information. You're welcome. Anyway, 47 minutes into this, we might as well call this studio mate in another state. It's been so long. But just, I really, no one I've ever talked to has done this, and especially to this extent. No artist I've talked to has had inside information. No artist I've talked to has been able to explain, this is going to shut off now soon. No artist I've talked to has had any of this in their lives, so I'm sharing it with you. And I hope it helps. All right, I'm going to go eat some tuna or vegetable, coconutty, something weird soup that I made, soupish thing that I made. We'll do this again. Ciao. Ciao. Meow, meow, meow. Blink.